Welcome to Protea Weekly, and I'm back in the office after a lot of traveling. And surprise, surprise, I have a guest with me today to spice up the episode a little bit. I am joined by Zach Mesel of Wooden Spoon Managed IT Services. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Zane. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was a little angry a couple of weeks ago about an email that a CPA firm sent out regarding the topic of deepfake. And, I complained to my team members about it, lost my mind a little bit on an email, had to take some deep breaths. But then I thought, let me talk to somebody who's smarter than me about this topic. Shared the article that was sent out to the CPA's clients with Zach to get his feedback. One, to just make sure that I'm not being a total ass, because I have a reputation of being that way sometimes. But I think we're in the same page that this article sort of was really a little out of line, is the way I'm going to put it. Like, I don't think it was the right context. It sort of a little bit on the fear mongering side of it without real solutions. Some minor, hey, put some controls in place. But I feel like it just leaned into this, the fear tactics a little too heavy for my liking. And what is an obviously a very topical subject and something we do need to be aware of, but probably not as super scary as that article made it out to be.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about deepfakes first? You want to talk about what they are, just in case folks don't know what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
you're the smart guy that can explain this to people better than I can. Why don't you start with giving just the audience a definition of what deepfake is?
Sure. So a deepfake is when somebody uses um, technology to create a clone of your voice, or even it's possible to create a video that looks like you, and it's used in a couple different ways. The most common ways deepfakes are used are actually in recordings. So they'll take a recording of you that they have pulled from someplace. Generally, the higher quality recording they can get of you, the better quality clone they can make of you. And that's true both for audio and for video. And so they can get that from the internet, they can get it from YouTube and whatnot. But the fidelity of those, the quality of those recordings may not be, it's okay. It's okay. It's probably good enough to produce a reasonably good facsimile, but the higher quality, the better. Then what they do, I think the most common thing that I've seen is they'll create a recording, right? So they can reproduce something, like they could reproduce us probably in this kind of conversation, or just one of us speaking for some period of time. They could produce something that's pretty convincing. The tough part is producing something where it's live and interactive. That takes much more skill, much more computing power, and some luck on their part to make sure that they're having a conversation that's going to sound reasonable, that's going to sound like the real person in real time. And for the deepfakes that I have seen that have tried to do it in real time, boy, it's super obvious. It's just the technology is not quite there yet in terms of what's widely available. Not that it won't get there, but it's still pretty obvious. They're warning signs that are there. So usually used for recordings, those can be very convincing. In fact, I did a presentation a year and a half ago to a convention in Southern California where I basically put my face on Patrick Stewart, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and did a pretty convincing deepfake video. It was pretty funny. Another one of my bald brothers, But it was, again, it was a recording. It was not an interactive thing. And so it was kind of fun and it was kind of funny. But the kinds of things that were mentioned in the article or the letter from the CPA, which was live, interactive Zoom conversation with multiple participants, and there was a deep fake involved. That kind of thing, I think, is super rare. I mean, clearly it can happen, but is that the kind of thing that's going to happen for, the kind of thing that most business owners are going to see? I don't think so.
Yeah, it would seem that it would be a bit of a far stretch. I mean, the specific article, example they started with is like a multi-billion-dollar global company, right? Like it takes a lot of money to recreate these types of conversations. And it would think like if you're sending it, and this is a regional one, I'm sure they got some big clients and everything like that. But generally, like these are just regular old schmegular people doing business in the area. Like the amount of money that they could get if they reproduce that for one of these clients probably is less than what it costs them to produce some of these live interactions.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, yeah.
it's not just like now, it's like all the investment, like it's expensive technology. Like you said, the ones you can do right now is the recordings. I can go do one right now, you can go do one, like no problem. But like multi-person Zooms, approving payments, like that is crazy
It
high-end
is.
stuff that's
I
not
think that
readily available.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I would see as more likely, because this is already happening, right, via email, right? Hey, the president of the company needs gift cards. I need you to go buy $500 of gift cards, right? Where that could be even more convincing if it were done via cloned voice deepfake. But ultimately, the challenge that I have here is if you lack the kinds of controls that will prevent it from happening, prevent any kind of fraud from happening over email or voicemail, then you're also lacking it from preventing a deep fake. So why not put the controls in place that would prevent these other things, which are way more likely to happen? We can talk about some of those because those will also more than likely prevent the deep fakes as well. It's the alarmist nature, and this happens in my industry a lot. Like, oh my gosh, there's this new thing out there, and everybody should be afraid of it, and you should take these countermeasures. And oh, by the way, I have a thing you can buy. Drives me absolutely bananas because ultimately there are always going to be new threats. But it's like when those new threats happen, it's not like the existing threats go away. And so I think that it can, some level, you think, well, I better protect myself against this new thing, when really what you should be doing is incrementally adding to your defenses, making sure that you have both the technological defenses in place that your technology people, companies like mine included, are advising you to do, but also having the business controls in place that are really about, do you have the proper financial controls before you spend money? Are you going to take a voicemail or one email to go spend, hundreds or thousands of dollars without double checking? That's the part that gets me.
Yeah, I mean, a part of that, like, I can sort of understand when people are like a little fear mongering in your space because they have a solution to sell, right? Like a CPA, especially one that doesn't do accounting services and help people with their internal controls, it doesn't make sense to me, like why you would want to do that. Like, great, you've got all these problems, but the solution is be better at business. Like, that's just like, it leaves me in a weird spot. Like, and I guess maybe this is what makes me more angry is where it comes from. And it's creating fear at the level where like we don't need it, right? Like, this is where your IT guys need to step in. Like, accounting firms, like, yes, let's identify this issue, but like, that's not helping anybody, right? Like, if this article started with, "Hey, there's this case of deepfake linked to the article. This is a real problem. These things can happen. Here are the controls." And then the whole article was about controls. Like, I totally get it, but not 7 pages of fear mongering article. What happened? What went wrong? And then at the bottom, where everybody's lost interest in the article and no longer reads. Oh, and you can fix it by doing these 3 really simple things, and you probably won't ever get caught.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that we can all agree fear, while people certainly use that in their marketing, it's not a great technique. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a motivator, a little bit of a, hey, we kind of need to move this along. But if you really go that hard fear way of operating, number one of the things that you risk is actually scaring people so much that they don't take any action at all, right? There's fight, fight, flight, freeze. That
Mhm.
they freeze are like, I don't know what to do. This is too big an issue. I can't even deal with it right now. But I kind of, you and I were talking about this earlier, this idea of if we want to be trusted advisors to people in our fields, right? It's exactly what you were saying. Okay, let's come with constructive solutions. Yeah, okay. Let's acknowledge that there is a potential issue But let's also make sure that we're prioritizing it correctly and that we're taking the appropriate actions rather than just ginning people up, right? There are enough challenges in each of our industries right now that we don't need something that is going to gin up fear. What we need is, okay, how do we help people? How do we really show up for people in a way that is going to help them, give them more ease, and make them more productive in their regular everyday, not get them so spun up that they can't even think about the stuff that they need to be doing and really need to be taking.
Makes sense. So I don't think the solution of protecting ourselves from deepfake is to never leave a voicemail ever again, never talk on a recorded line ever again, never record a video ever again, and tell people they're never allowed to record, have an AI meeting recorder in, online, space ever again. Because else we're all hermits, right? And we're never interacting with each other. And then obviously we're all safe, but also life comes to an end. So, Zach, what can a business do to protect themselves, from deepfake? But again, let's go a bit broader, like just from phishing, these scam reach outs, like what is the best somebody can do to protect themselves?
Sure. So, I mean, I would put a deep fake kind of in that same classification as a social engineering attack, right? And social engineering attack, for those that are not aware, right? Somebody from the outside is basically trying to get you to reveal something, usually your credentials, your identity, your online identity, to be able to log into a system and gain access nefariously. And there are different ways that they can do that. They can do it on the phone. Some people are incredibly convincing. You can do it via phishing attacks. This is where somebody sends you an email it looks like it's coming from Amazon or FedEx or some reputable organization like Buffalo Wild Wings, and you log in and you log in and you think you're entering your credentials into that website, and really what you're doing is you're entering your credentials in a way that they can harvest them in real time, because it's revealing a username, a password, and a multi-factor authentication code. And we think, we're using multi-factor authentication, we're completely safe, this is completely securing our accounts. Well, again, it's one piece of the puzzle. And so if you're not doing things to educate your staff about how to, like, what to be aware of, what are people going to try to say to me to try to convince me to reveal my identity? Well, people can find out all kinds of things about you. They can find out information about you, about your family, about your home, and they can say some very convincing things, to the, I don't want to go, super duper crazy, but they can say, hey, this is so and so from your school, something's going on with your child, I need to get this information from you, or what have you. And literally they can sound very convincing and get you to say something when you're not thinking that you shouldn't. Much the same as people can get you to type in information that you shouldn't. And once they have that, they can get in and actually pretend that they're you. Okay, great. So from a technology perspective, what are the kinds of things that we have in place to detect and shut down those kinds of attacks? Those are the kinds of things that companies like mine, those are table stakes. Those really are table stakes. People gaining nefarious access to your Google account or to your Microsoft account and being able to send out email is you, right? We want to train you so that you can spot those kinds of attacks. But then again, we also want to put in countermeasures so that we can prevent those kinds of attacks from gaining any kind of traction. Those are things that are widely available. So, I advise people, talk to your IT company, and if they are not talking to you about those kinds of things, it might be time to talk to another IT company. But then that's the kind of the first part. The second part is, how do you prevent people from just doing silly things, right? Writing checks or revealing credit card information without going through proper controls. That really is a business controls piece, right? Where some people require two signatures on checks, or two authorizations for electronic payments, or some kind of approval process so that if somebody makes this weird request, that there's a backup. There's, it's like two minds are better than one. Let's put our heads together to make sure that we're not spending money, willy-nilly without having a second set of eyes, or somebody who's like, wait a second, no, I know how this goes. I've been through this before. We've absolutely had clients get scammed by the gift card attack. Oh, we need, $1,000 worth of gift cards. You would think, oh, this is obviously bogus. All you need to do, like the I would say one of like the number one thing to do is, okay, Zane just told me that I need to go spend this money. What am I going to do? I'm going to call Zane on the number, like on his cell phone. Like, I know how to get a hold of Zane, and I'm going to be like, how do I do this? I'm not going to email him because guess what? His email is probably already compromised. I'm not going to email him and say, hey, is this okay? Only to have it come back and say, yes, absolutely, of course, do it. No, 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 no. What are the procedures that you have in place to make sure that you have those authorizations? And whether it's, is it a text message to somebody's known number? Is it actually doing a voice confirmation? Yep. Did you ask for this? Yeah, I asked for this. And the likelihood that somebody's going to be able to do a what I would call like a multi-pronged attack. They've got a hold of your email, they've got a hold of the SIM card from your phone so that they can respond as you via text or via, if they call you, is really, really low. So don't just rely on one method of authorization. Use some kind of dual authorization method before you authorize these kind of payments or before you pull the trigger on the payments.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I mean, some of the things that we do internally to sort of make sure that we're protected as an accounting firm, and it's best practice that we talk to our clients about. One, we use a password tool uh, that it's problematic because I can't, if I lose my computer and I can't get to my tool, I can't log into anything. I don't know any of my passwords, right? So, gun to my head, I can't help you. But we tell people, like, if you get something in an email that says, hey, go to this website, well, don't link on the link. Go to your password manager, log into your account from there, right? Because that saves you from any links. Two, always check the email. Like, where did this email come from? And copy that and drop it in. Every search you go, is this a real email? And put it in. It will give you the high probability if it's real or fake. I would say just don't click on links in emails at all. If there are links that they do want you to, go to a website, find the vendor, find a number there, then call and ask to speak to the accounts
Right.
receivable department and don't ask for a specific person, just get them to put you in front of somebody random,
Right.
and then you can get that confirmation. Like, it's
Well, you're
just these
you're
little
talking
practices.
you're talking about the kinds of things that a good security awareness training program, complete with fish testing campaigns, those are the kinds of things that it will make people aware of, right? Because really it's about awareness, right? If we can educate people on what to look for, it lowers the likelihood that these kinds of things will happen, people clicking on bad links, etc. I would say the thing that I would add to that is, and this is especially for busy executives, business owners, and such. And I say this because I'm a busy business owner. This is the most likely device on which you're going to do something dumb, because it's way harder on a mobile device. The things that you were talking about. Look at who the email is coming from. Look at the link in the email. Does it really point to, right? You can get sophisticated if you know what you're doing. Hover over the link. Is it really pointing at the site that it purports to point to? Right? Way easier to do on a computer than it is to do on a cell phone. You can still do it, but it takes more steps. And people are way more likely to click on links without thinking on their phones and to click through on emails to various websites. So please be aware, take your time, slow down, right? This is kind of like one of the biggest messages in all of this. Slow down. If anybody's coming at you with a massive sense of urgency, that should be a yellow flag right off the bat.
Zach, I appreciate this. You're making me feel a lot better about it. But let's leave with this last question. Should we all be becoming hermits because of deepfake?
No. If we've learned anything recently, in my opinion, we need more community, right? We need to engage with each other more. And that's actually, I think, one of the things that actually helps, because it's not just about listening to your CPA or your business consultant or your managed IT service provider. It's listening to the stories that people are sharing with each other, that other business owners and business executives are sharing with each other, because we're going to share pragmatic information that really is designed to help That's what I have found, and so you're going to hear the kinds of stories that will ideally perk up your ears when something happens and you go, "Hey, wait a sec." If you can just take a beat, take a breath, ask somebody, and I would like to think that we all have somebody to ask within our company. And if you don't have somebody to ask within your company, if you're a solopreneur perhaps, and you're trying to check it out, ask one of your trusted business advisors. Hey, I'm being asked to do this. Does this make sense to you? Does this pass a sniff test? Right? Don't be afraid to reach out and do that, because that's the way that we combat the bad actors who are getting more sophisticated. We just need to be patient and be mindful and take a beat before we do stuff.
Fantastic. Zach, I appreciate all of this. As we exit, where can people find you if they're looking to upgrade their IT services?
Absolutely. You can Google Wooden Spoon Managed IT, or you can find us at www.wooden.
Thanks, Zach.
Alrighty. Thank you, Zane. Appreciate you having me on.